And I think we're ready to get started. I am Nikki Acosta. This is Eliminating Manual Tasks with QBO and Skimmer Billing. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. This is a 30-minute webinar. It should be super quick and easy. If you're coming in late, you have the ability to submit questions to us. Feel free to hover over the bottom of your screen in the Zoom toolbar, and you'll see a Q&A icon. If you click on that, it should open up a window to allow you to ask questions. So let's go ahead and get started. I, again, am Nikki Acosta. I'm the Director of Marketing at Skimmer. And today our panelists are Erica Steinbrick, Billing Wizard Driss and National Account Manager, and Patrick Mart, Senior Product Manager. And so we're going to cover a few things today. We're going to give you a background and a history of Skimmer Billing. We'll introduce the new QBO integration. Then we'll turn it over to Patrick. He'll show you a brief demo, and then we'll take your questions and cover next steps. So with that, I will turn it over to Erica.
Thanks, Nikki. Hi, all. As Nikki said, I'm Erica. I'm Skimmer's National Account Manager. I lead Skimmer's billing program. And I'm going to kick us off by walking you through the history of Skimmer Billing, why we built it for you, and more importantly, how it helps. So a few years ago, we conducted a survey asking Skimmer pros, you all, which tools you'd most like to see in Skimmer. And hands down, the overwhelming majority said you wanted the power to invoice your customers and accept payments all within Skimmer. So, of course, we then researched a bit to understand why this was important that Skimmer solves this for you. So, especially given that surely you're probably already invoicing and getting paid somewhere, somehow. And so what we found were some really crucial pain points. Pros were spending significant time toggling back and forth between Skimmer and then another system, typically QuickBooks Online. So you were managing your fieldwork in Skimmer and managing quotes, invoicing, payments in an entirely separate system. So this, of course, cost you valuable time double entering from Skimmer into another system or sending multiple invoices to the same customer to ensure you got paid for all of the work you're doing, or even worse, at times, maybe not getting paid on parts or chems or a work order that you may have forgotten to include. Which brings me to my next point. In talking to pros, I have found that plus chems model, additional items that you're selling, work orders that you're doing. I've heard tons of horror stories about these specific items not always making it onto invoices or taking so much time to get them there. So historically, pros have been using reports in Skimmer to manually add these additional items and chemicals or work orders to QuickBooks Online or elsewhere. And this just takes so much time. And there's so much room for human error. I mean, I've really heard countless pros say they want to move to plus chems in order to be more profitable, but they simply can't due to not being able to easily invoice for it. And there's also the fear of delay in payment, right? Because maybe your monthly service is set up on autopay, but your chemicals and additional items or work orders are on a separate invoice. So to solve these problems for you, Skimmer Billing was introduced in February of 2023, and our goal was to help you manage your fieldwork and invoicing all within Skimmer to save you time and improve your cash flow. So as we continued to listen to you and enhance Skimmer Billing, we understood that a critical piece we had to connect for you is integrating your invoicing and payments within Skimmer directly into QuickBooks Online so that you could easily reconcile your books, which of course brings us to today's webinar. So Nikki, if you can go to the next slide, please. Skimmer's new QuickBooks integration, Patrick's going to show you exactly how it works here in a second, but to give you just a super brief overview in a few sentences, you'll now have the power to manage your fieldwork, send invoices, and collect payments all within Skimmer with the ability to have your paid invoicing data sync directly into QuickBooks Online in real time. So essentially, your field and office team can manage their work within Skimmer, and your accounting team can manage your books within QuickBooks Online. So let's see this in action. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Patrick, and he'll show you how it works.
Thanks, Erica. Okay, so what we've done is added a new page inside of the Skimmer side navigation for the QuickBooks Online. When you first come to this page, if you were previously connected to QuickBooks, you'll still be connected. But if you've never been connected to QuickBooks, you'll see a page that looks like this. Well, we'll start by connecting. If you have multiple QuickBooks accounts, you'll see this same middle page where it asks you to select an account. If you don't have multiple QuickBooks accounts, you'll go straight to this next step, which is just authenticating. What we're doing in this first step is just giving QuickBooks and Skimmer permission to begin communicating with each other. So now that we're connected, we will come back to this screen, and this screen will let us have two new functionalities. The first one is to import customers. Now, we always recommend that you import customers first for two reasons. Sorry. So we always recommend that you import customers for two reasons. The first is to find any gaps. If there was any customers that were inside of QuickBooks because you were previously billing there and never made it into Skimmer, they would be up here. The other reason we want to find is these errors on the bottoms. These errors are on the bottom of this page will help us identify customers that are out of sync with Skimmer. The new integration uses a lookup ability to match customers, and any information that's causing a red customer down here may result in a duplicate customer when the QuickBooks integration is turned on. We also have the ability to do the same thing for products. Now, when we import products, we're going to be adding to Skimmer. Once the Skimmer integration and QuickBooks integration is set up, Skimmer becomes your source of truth. So whenever you need to update your products or your customers, you'll update them in Skimmer, and we'll write all of that information over to QuickBooks, so you don't have to enter twice. Whatever gets put into Skimmer will get added to QuickBooks. There's two accounts we need to select here. The first one is an income account for products and services. Whenever you create a new product, or whenever Skimmer needs to create a new service that's a work order type or any other product you're going to sell from Skimmer and needs to create it in QuickBooks, we have to set an income account. Most customers set some sort of sales account. QuickBooks has some recommendations and some defaults. We defaulted to sales of product income. Our advice is to use whichever one is most common. If you need to change an income account later for QuickBooks to do any of your reporting, you can make that change on QuickBooks and it won't affect your integration. The second account we have here is the undeposited funds account. This account is being default selected for all payments. You can change this account, but QuickBooks recommends that you do undeposited funds. They do that because there is going to be a gap between the time the payment is successful and the time the money hits your bank account. And this undeposited funds is a holding account in the interim until it finishes processing. So once those two are selected, the next step is turn it on. We'll give you a little bit of a warning here. There's other steps that can happen if Skimmer detects that you have multiple customers with the same name or multiple products with the same name. There's a warning so that you can reconcile those before you enable the sync. Once the sync's enabled, it'll start processing. And what we're doing is we're sending and connecting all of your data over to QuickBooks. Cool. So now that we're connected, we can check the activity tab to see what happened. This will show all of the items and whether there were any errors that happened in this syncing process. But once the initial sync is turned on, all of you can see all these customers are now synced over and sent to QuickBooks and are all connected. So that means at this point, Skimmer is our source of truth. So whenever we create a new product in Skimmer, and we save it, we'll see that these products automatically get added on the other side without any actions. So as long as you're working inside of Skimmer, everything gets updated. What that means is also whenever you're running your billing, same thing. So we can come into our invoice generator. I'm going to just select a date range and start generating our invoices. We'll pull all of our existing customers with work. So all work that's been done based off of your service stops that were done in the field, including dosages, will get pulled into the generator, and you can go through, review each one, make sure that they're all good, but you can see it easily pulls out the full stop, different dosages, even other work that's been completed. And we can generate and send these invoices in just a couple of clicks. So we've got all of our invoices sent. What we can do next is wait for a customer to pay it. We can also pay it for them. If customers have stored payments, we can add payments and then save them for future use. Or we can just add a offline payment like a check. And if a customer has a saved payment as enrolled in auto pay, that will go as well. So we'll add some payments here. And we can check our activity log. To see how these invoices have successfully made it over. And we can also check QuickBooks to see how these invoices and payments now show up on our other side. So our new invoices are now all over on this side.
That's great. So,
Yeah.
Patrick, a few questions for you.
Okay.
What if I'm currently managing or my profit and loss statement in QuickBooks Online? How will that be affected? Will anything change, or does it just sort of pick up where it left off? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, profit and loss statements inside of QuickBooks are run essentially off of invoices and income accounts. So as long as the invoices are paid and sent over, all of that information will be accurately sent. The only thing that I forgot to mention was undeposited funds. Once we've processed our online payments, there is that what we call a payout that needs to happen. So when the bank account when the money actually hits your bank account, you'll want to use your payout receipt detail report. That's going to show the payout. Unfortunately, mine is blank. This report will show the payout, and it'll list the payments by payout ID that are included so that you can map each payment that was created in QuickBooks to the deposit in your bank account, also in QuickBooks, using the QuickBooks deposits feature.
Gotcha. So I'll see my deposits, and then I'll come here to see which payments were included in that deposit to be able to match them up.
Correct.
Okay. What if I am managing inventory in QuickBooks? Well, can I continue to manage that? How do the products in QuickBooks flow over for that?
Yeah. So again, QuickBooks uses invoices to manage the inventory, and this new integration works with inventory item types in QuickBooks. So if you've got your inventory item types inside of QuickBooks, you would just import those into Skimmer so that we have that record and manage the total amounts inside of QuickBooks so that they stay even. I also came back to this page because we can see that auto pay worked. I was trying to get those customers to go, but after the invoice is generated, any customer that had enrolled in auto pay also automatically gets billed, and all of those invoices also get sent. So we can see that our auto pay ran for the 4 customers we had on auto pay, and those invoices have been sent to QuickBooks.
Awesome. Now, Patrick, another question for you. If I live in an area where I need to charge tax to my customers or tax products, how does that tax correlate with tax in QuickBooks?
Yeah, so taxes that are collected on the invoice are transferred into the QuickBooks tax modal in the exact same way. So all of your tax reporting in QuickBooks can remain the same. The difference is you're going to need to set up tax rates and tax groups inside of Skimmer so that they're collected on the invoices. But once they're collected on the invoices, we send all of those amounts to QuickBooks with the invoice.
Okay, so to recap, I reestablish or reapply, if you will, my tax groups to my customers within Skimmer. They then effectively match the existing tax rates that are in QBO because I've been using QBO and they're already set up over there. And as I get invoices paid, it flows over, the tax groups match, my reporting continues as is.
Correct.
Okay. So, and then just to clarify, going back to the question about cost, if I have cost associated with products in QuickBooks, that I can continue to report off of that because the products will be mapped over.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
So every product that we create inside of QuickBooks can still be edited on the QuickBooks side without interrupting the link. So every time we sell our Skimmer basket, if we need to change any properties or costs or information that we're using here, we can do that without interrupting any of the flows in the integration. And as we continue to sell this, as this item keeps existing on top of invoices, because they were sold inside of Skimmer, the reporting will remain the same.
Okay. Gotcha. And so now with making the switch to QuickBooks Online, if I want to, I'm sorry, to Skimmer from QuickBooks Online, if I want to understand which invoices are outstanding, really run a good report on accounts receivable, where do I do that now?
Yeah, so now all of your invoice reporting will be coming out of Skimmer. Any report that you would have originally done inside of QuickBooks on invoices happens in Skimmer. So Skimmer has a billing AR aging summary that will break down open invoices over time, who's not due, past due, and what you can expect.
So this is essentially my problem child list that I can refer to.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Alrighty. I think that covers most of the most commonly asked questions. Thank you so much, Patrick, for showing us all that. If you have questions, keep them coming in the QA. We will get to them. Now that Patrick has covered how the integration works, I'll give you a quick recap. So the integration between Skimmer and QuickBooks is a one-way sync. So Skimmer will become your source of truth for all shared data. Put it into Skimmer, it'll get over to QuickBooks Online. As you get started with this integration, your products and customers can be imported from QuickBooks Online. Now, you don't have to, right? If they already exist in Skimmer, we'll just need to make sure they match up. But you do have the ability to import so that all of the data is centralized within Skimmer. Secondly, or third, Skimmer will automatically send products and customers when they're created in Skimmer to QuickBooks Online. And all of your invoices, once they're paid, will be set in real time. So you don't need to go in and press a button or do a thing. Just as customers and products are created and as invoices are paid, they will be pushed over. And lastly, so that you can ensure you're accurately mapping your payments to your deposits, we have a very convenient payouts received report where you can see all of the individual payments that have been made, as well as your payouts in a summary.
All right, we are at the Q&A portion. We've got quite a few questions that have come in. Debbie has a question. I think we tackled Rocky had a question about cost, and we covered that. Debbie's question is, do all of the invoices apply the correct tax structure, and how does that flow over to QBO?
Yeah, so like I said, you'll need to set up your tax structure correctly inside of Skimmer based off of rates and groups and assign that to each customer. But once you make that assignment, we will continue to apply tax based off of the taxability you say of each item. All of those are settings inside of Skimmer that can be maintained. And from there, we do send the tax amount as part of the invoice. So when you're pulling tax reporting out of QuickBooks, all of that will be correct.
Great answer. Thank you. Let's see. Vinny asks, for any installed items or parts, do they have to be done via the shopping list functionality, or do we have the ability to add additional lines of product and services when creating the customer's invoice?
Yeah, you can do either. So if you're doing an installed part or item, you can do that as part of the service stop or work order, and Skimmer Billing will pick up those items. We also have the ability to add additional line items, and you can select products and services out of your work order type list and product list inside of Skimmer and add those to invoices in bulk. So if you needed to add several products to the same product to several customers, or if you need to go edit each individual invoice, both are you can do either.
Okay, here's one from anonymous attendee. It says, on Skimmer under integrations, I'm seeing QBO billing legacy, and it doesn't allow me to link up my customers and products in the same way that it shows on Patrick's screen.
Yeah,
what should someone do if they're seeing that?
There is a number of customers that are using what we had previously offered or called now the QBO legacy integration. If you're looking to switch over, what you can do is contact support and let them know that you're moving from legacy to the new one, and they can flip that switch for you.
Great. Question from Kim, is there an ability to add a recurring item for a select group of customers prior to invoicing?
So Skimmer gives you the ability when you're generating your invoices to add items in bulk to all of your invoices. So if you know you're going to be doing your annual conditioning treatment or your phosphate treatment in March or in June, when you're generating your invoices for that month, you can add that treatment to all of your invoices in bulk at once, which will save you a ton of time. And now if you're doing a recurring service, like say a filter clean, you can certainly create that as a recurring work order. But if it's a treatment you're doing across the board, you can go ahead and add it in bulk via the invoice generator.
Great.
You can also do the same with adding fees and discounts. So if you have the same separate from a item that needs to get added, if you just need to add a fee or a discount to a bulk of customers, you can do that as well.
Absolutely right.
I think we've tackled all of them. And thank you, Suzanne. She's hidden here, but she's in the background also helping you. She is with our success team. All right, so we will move forward here. What are the next steps, Erica?
All righty. So as always, all attendees will receive an email with today's recorded webinar and a link to book with me one-on-one. In our meetings, we will cover how Skimmer billing works. We can review and actually integrate your QuickBooks account with Skimmer, and more importantly, create a transition plan for you. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pros of all sizes, from 50 pools to 700 pools, and really developed a custom transition plan to help you. We know this is going to be a change, but that's exactly why we're here. So please take advantage of that meeting link. We're happy to help, and thank you for trusting us with your business. In addition to that, our support team is always there. You know them, you love them, you call them, they're not going anywhere. So you can always reach out to them and they can direct you to the account management team, and we will get you booked for a meeting to discuss more.
And I want to interrupt real quick. Kim has another kind of follow-up. She's like, I just want to clarify, this would not apply in our legacy account. Do you want to tackle that, Erica?
Sure. Yeah. All of these functionalities that we're all these functionalities that we're talking about are the new integration. The legacy integration does not cover any of these functionalities.
And do the invoices look the same way as they would look coming out of QuickBooks?
Well, no, because they're coming from Skimmer. So you're going to be sending Skimmer invoices, not QuickBooks invoices. So they'll look slightly different, but depending on how you've arranged your billing items inside of Skimmer, they'll feel similar.
All of the
Yeah.
relevant billing information is there, right? Your business info, your logo, your customer's info, invoice date, due date, all of the most important billing components are there. Visually, it might look slightly different, but actually what we've heard is pros customers, so pool owners, feel that it looks very similar because they're so used to getting your service history reports. So it has the same look and feel as those awesome reports you're already sending them. And it's a really natural and easy transition to now paying a Skimmer invoice versus QuickBooks Online.
Vinny, when it comes to down payments, you have two different options. You could either take a partial payment, which your pro is not going to be able to do, but you can do on a single invoice. You can also quote the full job in Skimmer billing and then just create an invoice for the down payment and then invoice the rest of the job when you're ready to, when it's completed. So
I think now we've actually tackled all the questions. And we are very likely, we're right on time. So quick before we go, thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Erica. Thank you to our guests for attending this webinar today. Again, we're going to send out the recording. We're also sending out today an invitation for our next webinar. We are bringing back Casey Graham. We did one with him in January. It was the most well-rated and highly attended webinar that we've ever done at Skimmer. He's a successful entrepreneur and has one of the fastest growing full service companies in the United States, no joke. And he's gonna bring some tips on raising prices and finding untapped revenue streams within your current customer base. Super sharp, motivational kind of guy, so we hope to see you there. And I think we're good. I think that's about it. If you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to support. We are here for you. We're gonna send you an email with the recording. You can also reply to that and we'll make sure we answer your questions. And with that, I think we're done. Everybody say bye.
Bye, have a good one.